Welcome to Purpose Living Podcast. We are the podcast training to do life God's way. And today, first of all, apologize. Last week we didn't put a episode out. We had plans and the plans changed. Part of life. We're a straight life. There's nothing sugarcoating around here. So today we will be talking about physical health. And I will let you dive into what we're talking about today.
All right, so we are talking about physical health and breaking that yo-yo cycle. With 18 years of experience in that field, it's so common that we do really well for a while, then we go backwards, and then it's just back and forth. We're either maybe we're losing weight and then we're gaining weight, or we're exercising consistently, or we're not. Like, we just kind of go into this yo-yo back and forth cycle. And so what we want to share is 5 ways really to help you to break that cycle and really develop just that healthy lifestyle. Relationship with food, relationship with body image, confidence in your skin, and not so much about like the exact numbers on the scale or things like that, but really developing those habits and becoming healthy from the inside out. And so
I feel like you're taking a shot at me.
What are you talking about?
Is this about me?
Well, we can learn from it,
It just dawned on me like, wait a minute. What is happening right now?
Do you feel convicted?
Wait a minute.
Do you feel convicted?
What is happening right now?
I think he feels convicted. All right.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. You are going to want to stick around to number 5 because it is ultimately the most important one. Because without that, it kind of all falls apart. So we'll start off with number 1 in your physical health to really break that yo-yo cycle. Number 1 is having a clear, compelling vision of where you're going, what you want to accomplish in your physical health. So if we don't know what we want to accomplish, then and not just get to that goal, but then the lifestyle that we're building, who we're becoming, what kind of like grandma do I want to be? Do I want to be one that gets up and down off the floor with my grandkids someday? I mean, hopefully that's a long time away, but a vision that takes us beyond, I want to lose 30 pounds. Because that just is like short term, there we go, we can gain that back and then keep that cycle going. So like that compelling vision that doesn't stop at a destination, but you can have mile markers along the way.
And I love that. Let's throw a twist into this.
Okay.
Let's say, right, I'm somebody who is trying to get back on my physical health journey. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking for a coach, right, that will help me. Hey, I'm coming to you. What kind of questions should I be looking for when I go to a coach? By the way, we do this too, so you can just come to us. But this gives you a practical, good perspective of what you should be looking for when it comes to a coach. When it comes to clear vision, what kind of questions should I be asking so that I can help equip myself to have a better idea of what that clear vision should look like?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you're creating a vision, it's kind of knowing like what are your goals or what are you wanting to accomplish. So are you, do you need to lose weight? Like how much is that? Do you have certain like activity goals? Do you want to have confidence in your skin? Do you want to be able to go places without fear or take pictures without hiding? Do you want to be able to have the energy throughout the day? Are you wanting to get better in your sleep cycles and creating a better evening routine, morning routine? Like what are the things that you want to accomplish? Like if you knew you couldn't fail and you were feeling really, really good, like painting that picture. And oftentimes what I like to do with people is ask those questions, but then give them that space to like, let's pretend we're there. Okay, so let's say we're 6 months down the road, you're at your goal, you're feeling energetic, you have confidence in your skin, you're waking up, not worrying about what you look like or what you should eat or what you should do to work out, but you're just building that lifestyle where you have that healthy relationship with food, where you're exercising and getting movement in for energy and doing things that you enjoy, and like you are able to go and play in the yard with your kids or your grandkids, whatever that might be, like creating that compelling vision just so that we do know what we're working towards. Because if we don't know what we're working towards and why it's important to us, then it's so easy, any obstacle that comes in our way, because they will come, any challenge that comes is like, oh, I'll just start tomorrow, oh, I'll just start next month, oh, I'll just start next year, oh, whatever, you know. Like we just keep making excuses and putting it off, not because we want to, but it just feels like something that we can't do because of X, Y, and Z, when in reality, when our vision is compelling enough, then we'll say, how can I? And it might not look perfect, and it might not be like this really fast journey, but we're going to take the little baby steps that we need to grow. And I think that's important too, before I go on there, is like, if we try to do like this quick fix, fast, get it done thing, that's where the yo-yo cycle happens a lot. Is anything that's just like really quick, like without really becoming the healthy person, we often can get to a goal and then we go backwards because we haven't gotten the roots in order to be able to maintain it.
I like that. Because I think that's where a lot of people struggle with when they get going in their health journey, because they don't have that clear vision of what do I really want out of it. And like listening to you, it goes beyond just like you said, losing the pounds, right? It goes way beyond losing the pounds. You gotta ask, which relates to the second point that you're gonna talk on, which is a good segment point to tackle on, is what are you trying to achieve as a person, right? It's not just so much so about losing weight and losing the pounds. It goes way deeper than that. And if you're able to identify what that is for yourself, then, you know, it is harder for you to get in that yo-yo.
Yeah, so that brings us to point 2, which is identifying who you are, like as that healthy person. So for me, I always connect it from a faith perspective with, okay, I am a child of God who has a healthy relationship with food, who takes care of the body I've been given. And so even if that doesn't feel like your reality right now, that's okay. Like you have to, but you want to say, okay, God, who do you say I am, and who did you create me to be? You didn't create me to be addicted to all of the sugar and sweets and carbohydrates and whatever else that we might like turn to for comfort. Like you just kind of put on that new self of, I am a healthy person with a healthy relationship with food. So once we become, we are, and then our actions reflect who we believe we are. I want to share a quick story of like when I was battling the like body image, exercise, bulimia, like I would binge eat and then feel like I have to work out a bunch. When I was in that season, in that cycle of life, I would remember just like kind of like praying and laying on my floor and saying, God, take this from me. Like, I don't want to keep doing this. But in the same prayer, I held it. Like, I could tell that I'm like asking to release it, but I didn't release it. I kept wanting to like control it. And versus like, I am just a healthy person. Like, that's just who I am because of the work that God has done in me. And so then I can identify with what He has done. So I am a healthy person with a healthy relationship with the food, with a healthy relationship with exercise. And then the more you keep like repeating that, then the more that just becomes, okay, that's who I am. I'm not somebody that struggles with this and that. And I'm not somebody that binge eats and is obsessive or extra. Like if I believed that's who I am, I'm staying stuck there. But as soon as I could shift that gear of like, Lord, you paid for me to be free from that. I am a healthy person with a healthy relationship with food. And I thank you for what you're doing in my heart, in my mind, in my soul to connect me with that.
Yeah, and I think, well, I want to change some narrative that people might have in their head, and something that we created ourselves in our head. Like, eating food is not a bad thing, right? It's just what you put in your body, how much you eat it. Those are the things, because I think that's a lot of people kind of put yourself in this category, like you're almost hesitant to eat to a certain extent, and then there's some people that are like almost overeat, right? And we just have to wrap our heads around the fact that our body needs some nourishment. We need to eat something to continue to feed our body, because that's how we grow, that's how our muscle move, that's where we get the strength that we need. Now it is up to us to decide, okay, how, once again, you need to identify with, okay, I'm a child of God, I'm a healthy person, I'm somebody who eats healthy, I'm somebody who, don't be afraid, I love food. I'll tell you I love food, right? But then you got to be able to help yourself learn, okay, what are the portion size, how much of this do I need to eat, and not be a stickler about it, but just be mindful of those things. Because a lot of people get stuck in that world.
100%. And it's important, because if let's say you do need to lose 50 pounds, the structure of what you need to do, you actually do have to take some very intentional action to get there, but you don't want that to control you.
Yeah.
So you want to come from a place where we're not labeling food, but we do want to ask ourselves, is this nourishment that I'm eating this for, or why am I eating this?
Bingo.
And so really, like, I always kind of have people start with like knowing what times are you eating, what are you eating, the portion size, how hungry are you on a scale from 1 to 10, and then what is the emotion that you're feeling when you're eating.
Yeah.
So I'm hungry and it's dinner time. That would be an emotion. The kids are going crazy and I'm stressed. That would be an emotion. I am exhausted. That's an emotion. So writing down like what's actually happening so we can kind of see, which actually leads right into our number 3, so I'll just go there, is knowing our triggers and our patterns. So we can kind of see what we are doing, what's our normal days looking like throughout the week, but then also the weekends. Sometimes weekends can be a different schedule, different structure, and so we can tend to be like, oh, I'll start Monday, and that's a pattern of the yo-yo cycle. So really understanding like what we're doing, why we're doing it, and if we can, actually journal that and write that down, it just gives us some insight to saying, okay, like I do this and I didn't even realize it. Like how many times do we, maybe grab a handful of nuts and then we grab another handful of nuts and then another handful of nuts.
Taking shots at me today.
Well, you just keep convicting yourself. I'm just talking.
No, you were saying that intentionally.
No, I'm really not. I'm really not. It could be anything, a handful of cereal, whatever it is. But those little things do add up. Or like I'm going to have a salad, so I'm going to be healthy, but we put a half a bottle of dressing on that salad, which is going to have, 1,500 calories on there. So really recognizing, that's where that journaling does really help. But seeing what we're doing consistently, but also knowing yourself.
Yeah.
So if you are a person that needs that structure to see that, that's really good. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're like constantly obsessed and you're always counting every little thing, then we actually need to take a different approach. So back to your first question about having a coach come alongside you. Make sure that it's not like one size fits all, that, you're just being able to actually be what is truly best for you and what do you need. Because there's a lot of ways to get to goals, but what's going to be best for you and what's going to help you to develop the habits and truly become whole from the inside out versus, this one size fits all, do this.
Yeah, and I think about even us too. You train completely differently versus the way I train. I do a lot of Olympic lifts. I lift a lot of weight.
I don't do that.
She's not about that life. So if she wants to make me be in pain, then I'll do the circuit stuff with her.
Yeah, I like that.
And she never does what I do. But coming back to that trigger point, it reminded me of, if you're somebody who you are a night owl, which I tend to be at some time. I don't go to bed till probably around 10:30ish. One of the things that I start to to create a new habit that I started to create is whenever I feel like I need to eat something, instead of just going to eat, I drink water. So that is when she talks about triggers.
Yeah.
That is one of it for myself. Like, okay, do I really need to eat, or do I just need to go grab some water and drink some water? And when you have those understanding of those things, then you have a better grasp of, okay, maybe I just don't need to eat. I just need to drink some water. And now, when I go to work, I carry my water bottle around and I try to drink as much water as I can, because a lot of times, although we might feel like we need to eat, it is so much so that maybe you're just thirsty. Your body. Plus, I don't think we drink as much water as we need to do. But so let's try to be practical here. We're talking about the trigger points and the patterns of. What are some examples of, for somebody who, let's say, for example, they are healthy, they're staying on top of things, they work out quite a bit, and they're getting their nutrition in, but they might be struggling to go to bed early.
Okay.
What could be some things that they could do to help them during, like, the 10, maybe 9:30, 11 o'clock period of time, so that they're not killing their workout that they did?
So avoiding eating before bed is what you're asking, like that, and getting a bedtime routine. Okay, so like the first is going back to that vision of, why do you even want to? Because if you don't want to, you're not going to do it. So you have to know that it is a personal choice, that yes, this is a commitment that I'm ready to make. And then when you are in that evening time, that's where we kind of bring in the lid exercise that we coach our clients through. So let's look at the situation. The first L, there's 3 parts of the L: look, listen, and learn. So the first part is, let's look at the situation. So it's nighttime, the family's in bed, I'm up by myself. Like, I could just eat something because no one's going to know, and I just kind of feel like it. So that's the situation. And then the second L is listen. Okay, so there's always those 2 voices that you're going to hear. The first one is like, oh yeah, you can just eat it. You can do better tomorrow. It's fine. Like, you deserve it, blah, blah, blah. Like, it just telling you that, all that instant gratification of things, of why you should just make yourself feel good in the moment for 30 seconds. And then you also have the other voice, the voice of truth, that's like, you know what, you said you wanted to, nourish your body, feel good. Do you really want to eat this? Is this because you're hungry and you need to fuel your body? Or are you just tired or dehydrated that you need to drink water and go to bed? Or maybe you are actually hungry. Okay, what's a choice that we can make? Versus maybe eating, out of the tub of ice cream, maybe we'll grab an apple, and really leaning into, am I listening and being intentional with the choices that I want to make? And then the third L is learn. Okay, if I know this is a recurring pattern of mine, what can I do to set myself up for success? Maybe I'm going to have a different eating routine that doesn't involve the TV, where the commercials of food trigger me to want to eat. Or, maybe instead I'm going to go to bed earlier. Maybe I'm going to read before I go to bed, kind of setting up what is going to help you with success. And then the I is the identify in the lid exercise. So I am a healthy person with a healthy relationship with food. Therefore, the D is decide, the decision I'm going to make because of who I am. And after going through that practically, you know what? I'm just going to go to bed 30 minutes earlier and kind of just unwind. And, maybe that's my time to pray. Maybe that's my time to journal, whatever it might be. But really, leaning into who am I becoming, and putting on that new identity versus, just start fresh tomorrow. Just eat the things. You're fine. Just do it. You'll enjoy it.
And the TV commercial thing, it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm. I know.
It's a real thing. Just turn the TV off. Just go to sleep.
Yep.
Or read a book.
Well, there's a reason that their advertisements are there. That's the whole goal, is to get you to go do it.
It's a real thing.
Which leads us into number 4, and that is embracing our forever lifestyle. So it kind of goes back the whole yo-yo cycle. If we think of anything as, I'm going to do this diet for short term, or I'm going to work out 7 days a week for 2 hours a day for this amount of time. Like it's short-term thinking, which can, like, there's seasons and times for different things, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but what we want to focus on is long-term, building the lifestyle that is sustainable and that you can continue on. So whenever we're making commitments or habits with clients, what our goal is to create commitments that you're not going to just do for a week, but this is just part of who you are. And then eventually you won't even have to think about it as a commitment to track. Eventually it'll be just something you do, and then you can continue to build on it. So if we can just work on making those and building, then eventually we become that healthy person with that healthy relationship with food that we're identifying with. But until we see ourselves that that's possible and that we can do it, then we are constantly going to make excuses and kind of fall back into that old stuff.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of also, like, if you're trying to embrace who you truly are, right? Like, when you put in your body, it's going to impact the way you think, your focus, and many other things. And it's a balance that you gotta find between, okay, how much I eat, how much workout I do. If I overdo the workout, there's more likely I will try to overeat.
Yeah.
But if you can find a balance between, okay, this is how much I eat and this is how much workout I need to do, you'll actually enjoy yourself, right? It's not that you don't gotta go to the gym and work for 2 hours. Like, you're killing yourself, right? But if I can go and say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to eat this healthy meal, right? A well-balanced meal, nutritional meal. And then I'm gonna find 20 minutes, 30 minutes to go and actually get a workout in. Or 45 minutes, whatever fits you, whatever suits you. Nobody's judging you. Just go ahead and do that, right? If you come out and you find yourself in a real good balanced place and not one is not higher than the other, then you're in a good headspace. So it's more so is just like she said, is finding what fits you well and not trying to join Captain America over here that does 3 hours of workout and then goes out and there's Caesar's pizza on the next door and he grabs a box of pizza and goes home with it, right? But just finding that balance of, okay, you know what, I'm gonna eat this much, and this is something that I'm trying to get better at doing. Is, okay, however much I eat, I'll try to calculate off, okay, how much workout do I need to do for that, and that keeps me in good balance. How much water do I take? How does that balance, right? Try to lower my sugar.
Can I so kind of almost thinking about it, because it's so individual, like what everybody's needs are. Like, I mean, there's so many factors that get involved in that. And so knowing, like, your height, your weight, your gender, your activity level, all of those things, and then your exercise goals. So if you are training, say you want to train for a marathon, then your nutritional needs are a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then if you're wanting just to exercise for daily life and function, then your needs are different as well. And so really knowing, that's where it goes back to your clear vision, because we can't ever tell you what you should do without knowing what you want.
Yeah.
And like really allowing yourself to know, okay, like this is when I feel my very best and I'm functioning at my highest and I'm really able to, have the energy, do the things I enjoy, then what does that need to match in order for you to be able to fulfill that?
Yeah, and like, to be honest, we're not telling you to do this or do that.
Yeah.
That is not what we're telling you to do. None of that. We're not advising you to do any of that. This is our story. This is how we live our lives, and this is how we tend to try to do things to help ourselves be in a better place when it comes to our physical health. Because I love to run, and I love to lift heavy weights, and I gotta nourish my body. If not, your boy ain't gonna be doing this any longer.
Yes. Which then we're going to go into number 5, and like I said, this one is ultimately, to me, the most important, and that is that the whole thing is beyond your willpower of you just mustering it up and doing it in your own strength. It's really leaning on God and His power working within you. So I don't know where you're at today with your relationship with God, but He doesn't, there's nothing that He doesn't care about, and there's nothing that He's not intimately present in, but we want to seek His will and His way and have him empower and lead us versus us just like trying to control it, trying to figure it out, and trying to do it in our own strength.
Yeah, and listen, I would say this. God don't care if you got six-pack or you don't, right? He gave you his temple. As long as you're taking care of it and you're giving him the glory for everything, you can look like Superman or whatever, the biggest person in the world. He don't care about that. It's what are you using his temple for? Mm-hmm. Are you using it to glorify his name? Are you using it to help other people? What are you using it for? At the end of the day, for me personally, like, this is where I've gotten to. How do I feel? Am I able to make decisions the way, like, with a clear mind? Am I focused on the things that I'm trying to do, right? Am I able to go out and play with my kids when they need me to go and play with them? For me personally, that is what it boils down to, and trying to keep myself in the healthy place that I can be. And that is my chart that I follow.
Yeah, and honestly, when we really lean into the process of just taking care of the bodies that we have been given, it just, everything else in life a lot of times ripples from how you're feeling physically. Because if you are, feeling sluggish and just it gets in our head, then we're not able to handle just everything else. Kind of flows from that space. Something that I like to do, making it beyond willpower, is even in the mornings when I go down and do a little workout, is I like to listen to the Bible, or I like to listen to something that's going to nourish my soul while I'm doing it, and just kind of keeps me in the frame of mind of like, okay, I get to do this, which I love, and I get to exercise or do something that's going to be good for my body. Because I know some people absolutely do not like to exercise, and so asking, how can I make it a little bit more enjoyable, and what can I do to make that part of my life? And then same with eating, like, I just love food, I just love all that. Okay, but if you can love God more, then he can empower you to resist what that temptation of all of that food and that sugar and those things that are like calling your name. Like, if you can, okay, I'm not going to fall victim to, allowing that gluttony, honestly, when I was a binge eater, I'm not going to allow that to control me anymore. I'm going to let God be the center of my heart, and then he can remove those desires. So food can also be like drugs. It can be like alcohol. Like, it can be an addiction where it's like, okay, I just need this. So to develop that healthy relationship, to end the yo-yo cycle, it's loving God more than we love food, or more than we love exercise or hate exercise, whatever that is. It's putting him at the center of your journey and asking God for guidance on what's my next best step. Give me the strength to make and follow through with my commitments, and allowing God to be the center of your journey, and then everything else can kind of flow from there.
We are Purpose Living Podcast, training to do life God's way. Listen, this is why we exist. If you need help in those areas or you just need guidance in those areas, check us out. Purpose Living, and you can search us up on YouTube. You can go to purposeliving.coach and just contact us in that way, and we'll gladly help you in all those areas that you need help in. I will touch many different areas of just trying to be a whole, that the way God wants us to live our lives. So that's why we exist, and in any way that we can be of help for anybody, feel free to contact us, and we'll gladly join hands together and work together to help you live a healthy lifestyle. Purpose Living Life, Purpose Living Coaching, training to do life
God's way.
God's way.